What is going on, guys? What's poppin'? So that was quite the game I just watched between the San Antonio Spurs and Los Angeles against the Clippers. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but before I get started, I want y'all to do me one big favor and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also click that notification bell. So guys, let's just jump into it. So this game went down to the wire, but if you're watching it early on in the first half, man, the Spurs were kind of whooping that Clipper tail, and it was great to see when Spurs are playing Kawhi and we're doing well. You just love to see it, right? But a lot of it is we got off to a really hot offensive start. We were shooting the ball well. We were running the floor. Patty Mills came in and was doing his thing, and he kind of stayed doing that throughout the game. But we'll talk a little more about that later. But one of the problems with the Clippers were they were just struggling to score the ball, and it was all Kawhi. And Kawhi was being somewhat passive in the first half, so I mean he got his, but he wasn't being super aggressive, and the rest of the guys just weren't doing a great job. They weren't knocking down shots, that sort of thing. So the Clippers really struggled. We got up to a 24-point lead. Heading into halftime in the second quarter, you kind of saw the Clippers start to make adjustments. Kawhi started getting a little more aggressive, and even though we had like the 20-point lead or 19-point lead going into halftime, started getting a little bit of concern as a Spurs fan. Going into that third quarter, we just kind of fell apart the entire third quarter, and I don't think you can discredit the Clippers because, man, Kawhi Leonard at times is the best player in the world. Pretty unstoppable game as far as his footwork, his just ability to get the shot he wants, and he just knocks it down more often than not, right? Kind of an unstoppable player in the same way Kobe was, in the same way Michael Jordan was, and even to a lesser extent when a guy like Demar Derozan is just on his game, he's kind of like that too. But when Kawhi's playing like that, you can't really stop him, and the Spurs don't exactly have the personnel to do so, right? So we were trying all sorts of stuff. I think Lonnie Walker got the first kind of shot at him in the first half. And to be honest, Lonnie Walker's just, way too small. He was moving his feet well. I thought he did an okay job at using his length, but I mean, Kawhi just uses his footwork, gets in the paint, turnaround fade every time, and he was just kind of able to bully Lonnie a little bit, I feel like. And same thing with DeJounte Murray when he was on him, although I thought DeJounte also used his length well. But we also tried Kelton Johnson, and I thought strength-wise he was able to hold up a lot better. And towards the end of the game, I mean, Kelton had some successful plays, even if it ended up with Kawhi passing and out of a shot to a wide-open guy. Sometimes that's better than letting Kawhi shoot the ball. So just Kelton fought and made things frustrating. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about Kelton later as well. Rudy Gay also got some shots at Kawhi. And guys, I think Rudy Gay's got to understand this year we need him to be strong defensively. I know he's not a great defensive player. I know he's older, can't move his legs well, especially later in the game. But, he's shooting the ball a little poor late in the games because I think he doesn't have his legs under him from playing so hard during the game. The thing is, he's the one guy on the team that has that strength and size and length to defend some of these elite players. Clearly, he doesn't have the athleticism, the lateral quickness, the foot speed. But when he's really working hard on the defensive end, I think he can give Kawhi some fits with his strength and his length, and I think he did that. So that was a good thing. Another thing, we tried to double team Kawhi a lot, and Kawhi just caught on to that really quick, and it did an impeccable job of passing out the double teams, hitting wide open guys. And it kind of killed us tonight that Nikola Batum was knocking down threes. He had like 21 points. Pat Beverly he was like 6 of 9 from 3. He had like 20 points. Kawhi obviously got some threes as well. Lou Will hit a couple. But I mean, in the second half, they started making their shots. Now, we finally made some adjustments. So credit to us. Some of our guys stepped up. Pirtle struggled, but he came in the second half and did better. Devin Vassell had a big game. in the second half. Kelton Johnson, I thought, was very competitive. We know what we got from DeJounte Murray, and I'll speak about him. But another guy that just stepped up throughout the game was Patty Mills. And even when we were slowly finding our way to stop the bleeding, it was like a 7-point game, a 10-point game, a 12-point game, that kind of thing. Patty Mills would step up and hit a big three, because there was a while in the end of the third or the beginning of the fourth where the Spurs and the Clippers, I think it was in the fourth, were just going back and forth, trading shots. Both teams were just hot right then and there. So now what I'm going to do is kind of go player by player in the rotation, just talk about how we played. I kind of told the story of the game there. Man, it was very crazy at the end. But the Spurs did pull that game out. If you didn't watch it, I recommend going back, watching the game if you have access to NBA League Pass. If not, check out the highlights. I'm sure they're out there somewhere on YouTube. But anyways, guys, real quick, we'll go by the rotation. Starting with a point guard, DeJounte Murray. And offensively, he was great in the first half. And he wasn't pressing, which is a problem sometimes. And he wasn't passive, which is a major problem sometimes. Because we can't have him and Lonnie Walker be passive in that starting lineup. But I don't think either of them were. And he was just kind of taking what the defense gave him. And he made a couple threes in the first half, and he just looked good. He used his mid-range game. He used it some in the second half as well. He attacked the basket. And sometimes it was a bag of mixed goods. But, man, when he was attacking the basket, he was finishing. He was doing really well. I think he had a couple and ones. So, really good night from DeJounte Murray. Was it perfect? No, but it was a good game. He made a couple stupid mistakes at the end. The one I'm really thinking of is the Nicola Batum steal. But give Murray a little bit of credit, because as bad as that turnover was, he chased down Batum and made sure he blocked or kept him from dunking the ball and finishing. Now, that could have gone horribly wrong for him. But, I mean, if you go back and watch that play, he really hustled. He was going to make sure he got back before Batum had a chance to finish. So it was a good foul, and he actually almost had a shot of a block there from behind. So that was nice. Now, moving on to Lonnie Walker, he kind of struggled to shoot the ball. But I don't think he lacked aggressiveness, and I don't think he lacked competitiveness on either end. I mean, he had some tough matchups on defense, and did they kind of expose us some? Yeah, sure. Especially Kawhi. When he had Lonnie Walker on him, I feel like he definitely ate. But at the same time, Lonnie moved his feet very well. He was competitive. He attacked the basket pretty relentlessly. And some of his shots just didn't go down. But all in all, I think he had an okay game, despite what the stat sheet might say. 1 of 5 from 3, 9 points, that sort of thing. But there's more to it than that, right? And same can be said for Kelton Johnson. I think he was like 4 from 11, but didn't shoot the ball very well. But I thought he was taking some good shots. I mean, there was times when the Clippers were kind of clogging the lane on us, and they were forcing us into some pretty makeable but tough threes. And when you don't have great three-point shooters, it's guys like DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, Kelton Johnson taking those threes, and some of them just weren't falling in the second half. So that was one of our problems. But I'll say some of the same things for Kelton that I will for Lonnie Walker. He was just super competitive. Kawhi was just eating, but man, Kelton was fighting on the defensive end, and he was using his body, his size. He was trying to do his thing, and he made a couple plays towards the end where, I could say Kawhi probably got the shot he wanted, but it was somewhat contested, and a couple of them he made. One he missed, one he passed out of, that sort of thing. So I was impressed with Kelton. He had an emphatic dunk at one point in the game, and another great play where I think Lonnie Walker got a turnover, missed a layup, was about to get his own rebound and go back up with it, and Kelton Johnson just comes up from behind, jumps over him, and threw it down with two hands on the rebound putback. So that was freaking awesome to see. So, not a great game by Lonnie Walker and Kelton Johnson, but they did their thing. They were competitive, right? So I'm cool with what I saw from them. Now, moving on to Demar Derozan, you want to talk about a real bag of mixed goods. He pretty much struggled this game. He didn't get the shots he wanted, and the mid-range jump shot wasn't really falling. he wasn't getting to the paint at will. He got there a couple of times, but maybe once or twice at most. And so the Clippers just gave him a hard time. It was a tough game for him. His defense, it wasn't great. I'm not going to go too hard on him because he's played pretty consistently well this season, but this game just wasn't the game for him. Maybe he made some solid passes, that sort of thing. I don't really remember too many good things from DeRozan. I remember him driving to the basket one time, and it was a nice move, good footwork, and his ability to finish there. But other times, I remember him just kind of trying to do something, couldn't, so it stopped the offense, and then it forced other guys to chuck up shots. Now, the next guy at the starting lineup, the last guy, Lamarcus Aldridge, another bag of mixed goods. He knocked down a couple threes, and they look good. And you could tell when he was feeling it, his shots looked nice, and they went down. They look good, but sometimes he's just an awkward fit. I mean, he's just not really a natural three-point shooter. And some of his mid-range shots weren't falling. It kind of is what it is at this point. With his spacing, he definitely helps. But I think it's going to be an awkward fit throughout the season, and hopefully he just has some hot nights where he's just shooting the ball lights out. But this wasn't a great game for Lamarcus Aldridge by any means. And now if I'm moving to his backup, Jakob Poeltl, wasn't a great game for him either, especially in the first half. He really struggled. He was rebounding the ball okay, but I thought he was soft on defense, and he provided absolutely nothing on offense. And when I say provided nothing, I mean he was more of a burden than anything because he was a ball stopper. And he had this thing going on with Rudy Gay where Rudy Gay would try to pass the ball inside to Poeltl instead of taking a shot, and then Poeltl would just stop the offense and then pass it out, and Gay or somebody else would have to chuck. So that kind of sucked. Now, towards the end of the game, before he was pulled out for Lamarcus Aldridge, I thought Poeltl made some really competitive plays that were just hustle plays. One was, it was like a loose ball, and he maintained possession and got the ball to Devin Vassell, who finished a layup, got the and one, and that was just a big part of the shift back in momentum our way, right? So that was huge. Now, Rudy Gay had a pretty good shooting night. Struggled at the end as far as I think he missed one big three, and where he was like wide open, and he also missed a wide open dunk where it just didn't go in. I mean, can you really blame a guy for missing a dunk? Obviously, he did what he could do. I think his legs just weren't under him, like I said earlier, at that point. There were a couple times where he tried to attack the mismatches, and which I always like seeing from him, and he did good. I think he had one turnover when he was trying to back down Pat Beverly, but it happens. He was trying to do the right thing. I think he did a decent job of letting the game come to him, and that's just really what we need Rudy Gay to do on offense, is just to try to not do too much. But I think he shot the ball well. He had like 16 points, so he definitely contributed, and he even played a little bit of decent defense on Kawhi Leonard. So I like the hustle and the effort from Rudy Gay until his just kind of got tired at the end of the game. Now, Devin Vassell made a couple threes, I believe, in the first half, and then he came in the second half and just continued to hit. I think he hit like one or two more big shots, and then he led to a couple hustle plays, and one is the one with Poeltl that I mentioned that got the and one, and it was that and a three he made that kind of solidified us back with a 10-15 point lead. So he was a big part of that. So the moment was not too big for Devin Vassell. I'd have to go back and look at his defense. It's usually pretty good. I noticed he got to guard Kawhi a little bit. I know he's not big and strong enough to guard Kawhi, but I think he got his chances, so we'll have to see how he did. But nothing but good things to say about Vassell for this game. Now, Patty Mills is obviously the star of the show, and I hope I'm not missing anybody out off that bench rotation. I don't think I am. But yeah, Patty, guys, was awesome. He was absolutely the star of the show tonight. He was playing just like he did for Australia and the Olympics. Just kind of looked like Steph Curry out there just running around screens, getting open, kind of chucking threes and just knocking them down. So that was freaking awesome. It was great to see. And guys, despite the times where it got a little rough, it was an overall very good performance from this Spurs team to beat a good surging Clippers team right now. Even if it was without Paul George, and let's give the Clippers credit, it was. And they also didn't have Marcus Morris. But at the same time, Kawhi was really tough to beat. And when he wasn't beating us, he was just hitting guys wide open. So I think in the future, moving forward, we need to figure out what our best options are defensively. I think tonight we tried a little bit of everything. We need to go back and look at kind of what worked the most. And I think you'll find it was kind of a mixed bag again. It was a little bit of the Kelton guarding him on defense, couple double teams here and there, but you can't just go double team him every time because he'll start catching on super quick and he's going to pass right out of it and hit open guys. But that, and I think even give Rudy Gay some shots when he's taking you to the post, to the mid-range game. But guys, that's pretty much it for today. Let me know what you think about my videos where I'm just kind of giving the post-game thoughts. I thought about doing this live, but I'm like, you know what? Nobody's going to be up. It's 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern. That's why I probably sound like I'm half asleep, probably sound like an idiot. But I thought it'd be fun to do, so I'm probably going to continue doing these types of videos as well. But guys, like I said, one more time, if you haven't subscribed already, do me a big favor, subscribe for some more San Antonio Spurs content. Hit the notification bell, the like button, and leave me a comment if you're a Spurs fan. And guys, that's going to do it for today. I'm out. Peace!